The vast majority of people right now in this room, take it any way you want, are massively unhappy. Judging themselves against everybody else, right? I'm not fast enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm too old, I'm too young, I can't. And what's happening right now, guys, is the world is on this massive growth kick, and too many people are watching all that stuff happen, and because their own personal happiness and satisfaction hasn't been met, they're missing it all. You with me? Or they're in the rat race and not enjoying the process. So for those of you that don't know me, I only have 15 minutes, so can I just assume rapport? Is that cool? You guys understand rapport? We're in sales, yes? National Plumbers Association, I'm in the wrong room, just checking. So when I was on the phone with Steven and he said to me, hey, would you come spend 15 or 20 minutes and talk to the very best? Would you share some insights? And I was like, first of all, 15 or 20 minutes is hard because a typical seminar for me is 3 to 4 days long. Even though I talk really fast, it sucks when you go to Iowa, but here it's okay. So I did like a little meditation, and I thought about 29 years of doing this. I thought about 30,000 hours of one-on-one private sessions where in many cases, the guy I was talking to ended up crying at the end of the call. You were one of them. And the women always seem to amaze me with their mental toughness and their ability, so men don't take it personally, but the ladies rock. It's just my experience. Normally I get a clap for that, so screw all of you. I'm just saying. But here's the deal. When you reflect on 29 years, which is, Dottie, like 29 years.
Don't
like,
say it.
remember when you hired me for like $14 and I would go to Long Island and do seminars? It blew me away when I was able to codify just 2 things. When I think about Jeremy Cady as an example, here's a young guy who did 67 sales in his first year in the business. It's not bad, right? Could you imagine if he was in Beverly Hills? You'd be like, screw him. Who's he sleeping with? Where's that business coming from? But he went out and did 67 transactions his first year in the business. And Sharon, he did happen to sit in a Tom Ferry seminar, shameless self-promotion, the week before his license came in. So he didn't know any better, Peter. Follow this schedule, do this marketing, here's what you say, go. Right? 67 sales his first year. The one that inspires me more than anything else is my dear friend, 19 years of working with this woman in La Jolla, California. Do you guys all know La Jolla? Right? So I was just at her 80th birthday party. 80th birthday party. She said to say hello, by the way. I talked to her a couple days ago. So check this out. She's 80. She's 80. Last year they did a smooth, easy $165 million in volume, $3.4 million in commissions. And at the end of the day, this 80-year-old grandmother of 4 boys, right, that by the way, this year, just like last year in the last 5 years, she'll go to 120 baseball games. Her eldest grandson is now starting for the Houston Astros for 1 pitcher. She'll go to every game. And her younger grandson is a pitcher at USC. And, both boys went there. She'll go to 120 games. They'll sell, 75, 80 transactions this year. Every year she says she wants to do 100. But, we'll see. The most she's ever done in La Jolla is 91. Right? She sells the low end, 2.8 on average. And here's the deal. What is it that Jeremy Cady as a brand new agent or Maxine who's been selling real estate nearly as long as I've been alive, what do these 2 have in common? And then who's here from Newport? Right? So my personal client now of 11 years who really I think about came out of nowhere. He was this guy that was doing commercial, he was an assistant for another agent, then he was, working Shady Canyon as his geographic farm and selling 15 or 16 homes a year, connected with him, had a couple ideas. Didn't really do much, really just said to him, hey, you're a one-trick pony. You're very myopic. You get all your business from this source. There's more sources. If you just add more sources, you'll have geometric growth and, 53 sales the next year. And last year, I think about just under $500 million in sales. What is it that these 3 have in common? What do they have in common with the 7,200 people that we work with today? What if I told you, my friends, that the vast majority of you inside this room are grossly underperforming your potential? Grossly. And I don't mean that, listen my friends, I don't mean that to jab you in any way, shape, or form, but how many of you who has children that you're aware of? Who has kids? Right? So I have 2 boys, and I lovingly say to them all the time, you are grossly underperforming your potential. What you are capable of and the drive or ambition and work you're willing to do is somewhere in this range. And when I thought about, God, I mean, I don't even know how many people I've talked to now. I don't care, I was talking to some guy in London a couple days ago who, lets properties and makes, X amount of, dollars, and he's telling me that you don't understand, the market's hard and there's no inventory and it's really hard and every buyer doesn't want to pay the fee and every seller wants a discount. I'm like, bro, that only happens in London, in case you were wondering. He's like, no, but you don't understand. And I was like, no, you don't understand. That the number one thing, when I codify all of these conversations over 29 years, the number one thing, my friends, is this, that every single person inside this room sits in one of 2 places. Now you all hear like mindset, and I actually made t-shirts that say mindset matters, and like anybody inside this room who's been sales for a while, like you've seen someone motivational that says, you need a morning routine, you need to get fired up and do your affirmations and all that shit's true. But here's the deal. Every single one of you right now inside this room, I can ask you one question and determine the fate of your career and what's going to happen in your life. Do you want the question? Do you? Some of you are like, ignorance is bliss. So here's my question for you. Ready? Is right now the single greatest time to be alive and in this business? Yes or no? Yes. Don't be all seminar on me, because I can prove most of you wrong. That you say that because it's the right thing to say inside a seminar, versus really thinking like, do I really believe that? Or do I sometimes get impacted by who won the presidential election? Or what's going on with California taxes? Or how come such and such got a deal and I didn't? Or, yeah, I know that makes sense, but I don't want to try that. Like, that doesn't work for me. You don't understand. See, in my market, this is how I do it and the way I do it and blah, blah, blah. And this story that I hear from people to absolutely ensure that they stay small is fascinating to me. And a wonderful book by Dr. Carol Dweck, which all of you should read tonight. I'll give one of you a copy right now. Who likes to still read these verses? Okay, so I'm throwing this to you, dude with glasses. Please don't hit any. Oh my God, I'm sorry. I can't see. I apologize. I can't see either, so it's all good. So check it out. This is my first seminar. Might be my last. But check this out. Dr. Carol Dweck, more of a psychologist, not meant to be motivational in any way, shape, or form, writes this book called Mindset. And really what it starts out is how the study of 4th graders, that when you're in the 4th grade and you begin to be presented with more challenging things to learn, what she discovered was the mind does one of 2 things. It either goes into a fixed mindset, I'm not smart enough, I'm not good enough, this doesn't make sense, I don't want to try it, what if I fail? You with me? And then in that moment, their life trajectory is set in don't take any risk, avoid failure, don't make any mistakes. Tall poppy syndrome, if you've ever been in New Zealand before. Don't rise above the crowd. Don't start doing a lot because you know what? They cut your head off. And usually the person cutting the head off is you. That's a fixed mindset. Versus in the 4th grade when they said, here is a problem, here is a challenge, you don't understand it, and they leaned in and said, tell me more, I don't understand, how can I do this? What is the concept? Can you explain it to me more? Now you might say, Tom, I'm long gone since the 4th grade. But what if I said to you yesterday in a consulting project with a little company called Facebook from Menlo Park, they sat me down for 4 hours and said, help us understand the real estate agents in the real estate industry. I said, well, can you give me an example? They said, why, when you go to the National Association of Realtors, are there 7,500 booths with trinkets and crap for agents to buy, including name badges that say, hello, my name is, and it goes by in blinky lights? This is not the new official Element name badge, in case you're wondering. And yet, did you say not yet? Please. But consider, they said, we don't understand, like, you can run a Facebook ad and you could boost it to every person you want that makes more than $100,000 a year, that's 45 to 65 years old, that, by the way, works at IBM. Like, you could be so precise. And I said, you have to understand that the vast majority of people, not in real estate, around the world, operate in a fixed mindset. The computer scares them. it makes them nervous. They look at a screen and instead of saying how, or better yet, Googling or going to YouTube and saying, what's the best solution? Instead, they say, no, I'll take the trinkets, give me bigger signs, and I'll go about my day. But now, let me ask you a second question. How many of you think the world is speeding up? 4 of us, good. Not talking about the current trajectory of the Earth and its rotation. You're like, yeah, I was kind of feeling a little woozy. That's the alcohol. So last night, you've probably met this guy, Joe Shen. Started Ren, right? 65, 66, richest person in China. Sat at dinner last night at Gulfstream, right? And hanging out, and we're talking about the future of real estate. And he said, what do you think is going to happen in the next 3, 4, 5, 6 years, right? He's bought a bunch of companies. He's making a lot of investments. And I'm like, look, man, I'm no fortune teller, but I'm smart to figure out self-driving cars is going to impact real estate. What do you guys think?
Yes.
And like it or not, we are 3 to 5 years away from you getting in your car and going, take me to the office, turning to the left while the car goes that way, opening up your laptop and talking to your daughter. Which, by the way, that's also going to impact where people move. What do you guys think? Because when suddenly an hour in traffic feels like time enough to watch the latest, television show that you wanted to watch, and it's no longer a burden and stress and anxiety, suddenly, between that and Hyperloop, it's going to be interesting. But what if I told you in the next 5 years, you're not going to show property. You're going to put them inside a car, they're going to go somewhere, and here's the best part. You're not going to be there. Your robot is. Think about what I just said. Do you guys all remember the Jetsons? Yeah. Like, does anybody else besides me want Alice? Some of you that are young will need to Google Alice and the Jetsons. It's when the world was black and white. You'll get brought up to speed. But now you guys think do you guys think I'm serious? What do you guys think?
Yes.
I am dead serious, but the good news is the robot, and this is where it really gets interesting, the robot will actually be collected and connected to 6,000, probably at that time, 20,000 Douglas Elliman agents into our neurocortex, connected into the cloud. So the moment a customer says, do you think this apartment's really going to sell for $21 million? It's not just the robot answering or you answering because your AI is the robot, but it's the collective of 20,000 agents neurocortex saying, this is the answer and this is what you should do. And by the way, that already exists. By the way, how many of you have read the book Bold, B-O-L-D, Bold, by Dr. Peter Diamandis, local guy from Santa Monica? For the rest of you, if you've not read that book, matter of fact, even more important than reading that, he just published The Countdown to the Singularity from 2013 to 2038, year by year, the expectation of the brightest minds from Google and others, saying this is where the world's going. I would challenge you as a real estate professional to download this for free today. Google it, Dr. Peter Diamandis, his prediction of the future, not to freak you out, but as a gut check to see where you are really. Fixed mindset or growth mindset. My client Maxine at 80 said, send me that. And you know what she said to me? I need to figure out how to live to be 125 because that looks really exciting. She's like, you mean to tell me I can go on appointments, but I could actually be on the dance floor with her best friend Mary Murphy doing a cha-cha? And instead of me being there, I could also be on a listing presentation? The answer is yes. That's where the world's going, my friends. And you say, what does this have to do with the Ellies? Everything. Because the choices and decisions you make today about yourself and about your business will determine where you end up next year, and the following year, and the following year. The question was, will real estate agents exist in 5 years? What do you think my answer was?
Yes.
1,000% yes. The difference is you will be massively tech-enabled in a way to connect the dots for customers and do what you've always done best, which is counsel them and help them make the right decision. That is the greatest superpower in real estate today. But all the other stuff is just going to happen. Make sense? So here's my second thought. You ready? The first one was the very best all of a growth mindset. They embrace change. They like the fact that things are being adjusted. They don't see themselves as the victim of it. Instead, they lean in and they learn. The next one, though, my friends, is one of the most famous quotes on the planet. Gets messed up all the time, but we all know what Darwin said. It is not the strongest, not the fittest, right? Not the most intelligent, but it's the most adaptable to change. That's who dominates in real estate. Howard, how long have you been in the business now?
45 years.
45 years. Dottie, how long in the business?
Long.
Long time. She's like, I'm not answering. But Peter, how long in the business?
48.
48 years, 2 years away from Big 5-0. Can we give Peter Hernandez a giant round of applause? Okay, I got to give away a few more books because I'm almost done. If you haven't read all these books, you absolutely should. Have you read this? Okay, so, arguably the greatest fund manager on the planet. He's in his 70s now. It's 152 principles that allowed him to take his company from here to monstrous heights. Ray Dalio, right? Absolute genius. And the fact that he put this work together, that's the biggest book I've read in a while, and I've read it twice already, right? It's not a book you read, it's a book you study. Do you want a copy? You want a book? Okay, how many of you know someone that gets in their way all the time and they're not even aware of it? Okay, are they sitting in your chair? Okay, then I have a book for you. I won't say the title, but you can see it basically says how to unblank yourself. So you're welcome. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah. There you go. Okay, how many of you know someone that needs to change, knows they need to change, but does the same dumb shit all the time anyway? Okay, then this book is for you. It is called Change or Die. And the title alone, by the way, like Sharon, should we talk about the Google site? Okay, I know when I talk about the future, it makes some people nervous. I get that. I get excited about it. My father-in-law, who's going to be 94 in a couple days, gets excited about the future. He's got an iPad. He looks at it every single day, checking out his stocks. He gets thrilled. But here's the deal. You ready? With all these things going on, one of the great things that I'm seeing, I say great, let me take that back. One of the sad things I'm seeing right now is with all of this abundance around the U.S. right now, the streets are paved with gold. Do you guys get that? No, do you guys get that? Yes. Say to me, the streets are paved with gold.
Streets are paved with gold.
Okay, like my trainer this morning, who was born and raised in Compton, right, who now we train at Fashion Island, that little gym above the movie theater, says to me, man, if you can't make it in 92625, you can't make it anywhere. Because this place is like, Corona Del Mar, he's like, this place is heaven. You can do whatever you want. You don't have to even be smart. Right? Just a little ambitious and driven. This is what he's saying to me. And I'm like, dude, I'm not going to repeat that. Yes, I am. But then in the next breath, because I love this guy, he said, but I'm shocked by the number of people that I talk to with all of this abundance and all of this opportunity with so much available at our fingertips. I mean, Siri, how do I Google, what do I need to? Everything we want is there and accessible. And yet, the vast majority of people right now in this room, take it any way you want, are massively unhappy. Judging themselves against everybody else, right? I'm not fast enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm too old, I'm too young, I can't. And what's happening right now, guys, is the world is on this massive growth kick, and too many people are watching all that stuff happen, and because their own personal happiness and satisfaction hasn't been met, they're missing it all. You with me? Or they're in the rat race and not enjoying the process. Do me a favor, turn to your buddy and say, he knows a few people like this. Now, how many of you guys, who's from Orange County, like Newport, yada yada, Laguna, etc.? Do you all know Dr. Daniel Amen?
Yes.
Okay, so I've been texting back. Dan's a good friend, amazing guy. Listen to this stat. He's like, Tom, across the U.S., 23% of women between 25 and 45 are on happy pills. I said, you're kidding me. He goes, do you want the Orange County number? 62%. I was like, holy shit, we're medicated. Now, I'm not saying that that's you, and if you're taking your meds, it's all good. I have a different situation with meds. My meds are meditation, exercise, diet, and sleep, right? Those are really good meds. Try it on. But here's what he said to me. There's so much opportunity. How do we help them get more happy? I want to give this book to one person. Karen, you want it? Yes. Okay, Harvard Business Review did a beautiful study of basically the science of happiness. All of you should read that book tonight. I've read it a couple times. You're actually getting my copies. You see all the dog ears and right, all the little notes that I'm making to myself. But here's the deal. You ready? Are you adaptive to change, or do you let little things piss you off? Like if you let little things piss you off, you know how you solve that? Call 5 past clients. My cards aren't right. Good. Call 5 past clients. You'll feel better. Right or wrong? I was on the phone with our boy Josh Rubin this morning at 8:30, and I said, Josh, what's going on this week, man? We're looking at his numbers, talking about his business, and you know what he told me? Here's the first two things. Oh, here's the 2 deals I just closed, one for $6 million, one for 2.5. That's a no bedroom, no bath in New York. Both, by the way, referred through his agent-to-agent relationships. He was like, man, Josh, let me say this. Here's Josh. Man, I'm really excited. Now we got these West Coast people, and this is gonna be really good. I got to get out there. I got to do some sales meetings. Tom, can you write my talk? What do you want to do? Guys, if you're not on an airplane 3 times this year, going to Aspen, going to Boston, congratulations on Boston. You're not going to Boston, you're not going to the city, you're not going to Montauk, Long Island. If you're not out traveling and doing a meeting on, here are the 7 secrets of what's going on in Santa Monica right now, so when you're out talking to your customers that all live on both coasts, you can be more intelligent. And at the end of the day, the number 4 listing source right now amongst my 7,200 clients is agent-to-agent referrals. And if you're not actively and aggressively working that right now in this market with this opportunity, the mistake you're making is showing me your fixed versus growth mindset. You with me? Yep. So, I don't know if this helped or it hurt. I know you guys got a lot of stuff to do, but it's kind of cool to come across the street from my house and see a whole bunch of people that I got a love and respect for. Listen to me. 2018 is going to be bananas. Whatever your intention was, your goal for this year, without any motivation or bias at all, add a 0. Because there's some dumbasses in Southern California. Right or wrong, guys? And I say it in a loving way. Someone's got to sell 1 house a year. But this is the marketplace where the consumers have spoken. Listen to me, guys. I was just in a meeting with Google. This is what Google says. Brand matters to the consumer. And brand is created by your smiling face, identified with a logo, with something they respect, a couple reviews, and a decent track record, and winner, winner, chicken dinner. Does that make sense? Now, that's not me talking. That's the almighty Google, that site we all go to every single day. So the opportunity for you is tremendous, and I wish you nothing but blessings, health, and success. Thanks, guys. Hey, you're the kind of person like me who's always looking for great stuff, new ideas, innovation, and ways to improve my life and my business. Check out the link below at tomferry.com/agent-tools because I've got lots of great stuff for you there.